What's going on, YouTube world? This is your guy, Sealz the man. Thank you for coming back and checking out your internet brother. On a personal note, this past Sunday, we celebrated my grandmother's 80th birthday. 80th! And we also celebrated my mom's birthday. I'm not gonna put her age out there because she might knock me upside the head, but I had to shout out my grandmother's 80th, man, so thank God for her. But as I was celebrating with them, I was just realizing how much greatness they had. They are exemplary, great women. So shout out to all you great women out there. The world needs you, your family needs you, your community needs you, and the world will need you even more, especially in these days and times. But as y'all know, I like to look at different perspectives when it comes to certain things. So what I'm gonna talk about in today's video are the cons of being a great woman coming from the perspective of a man's mind. This is just a little different outlook on why it's not always peaches and cream when it comes to being a great person, especially a great woman coming from the mind of us. All right, so before I start, make sure you follow me, hit that subscribe button below, make sure you like this video, make sure you comment, tell me what you think and if you've ever been through any of these cons. But once again, shout out to all you great women out there. But this is something y'all should be aware of. As y'all know, this channel is about understanding the mind of good men, decent men. And in keeping that same tone, I'm gonna bring up the first con of being a great woman coming from the perspective and the mind of a man. And that is, great women are highly desired by men, highly desired by everyone. Everyone, including the rotten apples. Now, as I talk about these cons coming from the mind of a man, I'm putting myself in the shoes of a man who has a great woman in his life, whether that be his girlfriend, his wife, his mother, whoever. And the reason why this is a con in our eyes is because men know men. It's funny when I talk to women, whether they're my friend or my girlfriend, how they'll say certain things like, "Oh, I didn't see him doing that," or "I never guessed he would have did that." And me, or the man in your life, is like, "I've been telling you that the whole time." Or "I'm not even surprised because I saw that in him." Because men know men. Just like how y'all know women and y'all try to put us on things about certain women, the same applies to us. Men who know when men are trying to be deceptive, when they're being fake nice. We know their tricks and games because we are men. So this directly relates to being desired and wanted by men, because you will also be desired and wanted by players, manipulators, liars, abusers, men who want to control, because you are that great, you are that desirable. And it is a con because a lot of women do not see this. They do not understand what the game that this man is playing. They don't see it like we do. And we just want to be able to give our vision of manliness to y'all, but that's not possible. As great men, we want to be your protector. And it sucks to even think about these men that are trying to get y'all, who are up to no good, who are rotten apples, who are trying to play games. So a lot of us men, when we know or we have a woman who is highly desirable because of her greatness, it has us on the edge. The second con of being a great woman from the perspective of a man is, it can be troublesome if you are with a man who is insecure or has trust issues. One of the worst possible partners that you could have in a relationship is a partner who is jealous of their partner. That don't make no dang on sense, but it happens, and it is happening every single day. And when you are a great woman, when you are a great person in general, you're going to do great things. You are going to ooze and exude greatness, and you're going to do it naturally. Your spirit is going to be great. You're going to talk great. You're going to have a great attitude about things. You're just going to be great. And greatness is loud, it's vibrant, it's powerful. You can feel it. And that includes your partner. So you have to make sure you're with the right man, because if he is insecure or if he has trust issues, that will most likely turn into a problem. He's going to think you're going to far outreach him. He may think you're going to leave him for another man. He may feel less masculine. He may feel less accomplished. You see, the dirty spirit of jealousy and the strong grasp that trust issue has on a person can change a person. It can make them blind to good things. It can make them blind to great things, and it can make them blind to great women. It can make them forget about the great thing that they have in their life and turn inward on themselves and create these illusions to make themselves feel less. While she, the great woman, has nothing to do with this. I always tell people, I have nothing to do with your insecurities. I choose to be great. God made me great. It is a blessing to be great. I speak greatness into myself. Even on the days I don't feel great, I choose to be great. But if you have a problem with that, I have no business worrying about what you think about me. What you think about me, feeling great about myself, is not of my concern. And I want you to instill that same mindset into you. Don't get less than because others feel like you are greater than. When people say, Oh, you think you brand new? Tell them, yes, I do. I'm brand new every single day. That is what I strive for. So if you are with a partner, if you're with a man who has a problem with your greatness, do not succumb to his low vibrations. And that goes for anybody, not just your man, anybody. And coming from the perspective of a man, I've seen my friends go through this, having boyfriends who are jealous of their greatness, and they stay with him or let it slide because they love him. It sucks to see. The third con of being a great woman coming from the mind of a man is that you may find yourself in many situations of being the helper and not having that same care reciprocated to you. Now, I could talk about this coming from the mindset and the shoes of being a boyfriend. I don't know if y'all know this, but I'm gonna tell y'all this right now. Your man hates when he sees you being used and overly used and taken advantage of because you're such a great woman. Your man hates to see you being utilized and over asked and over requested by family, friends, whatever, because you are such a great woman. Going back to the first con that I brought up, being highly desired. We know as your man that you're highly desired because you are that great. But there is nothing we can do. We feel helpless at times because we don't want to stop your shine. We don't want to stop your ability and your blessing and caring for people and your spirit of charity and help. We don't want to stop that. We don't want to be a hindrance to that. But at the same time, we can also see coming from the outside of that glass house what is actually going on. When we actually look at the person who is requesting these things from you, asking you for help all the time, and not giving it back to you, we see that. If your man cares for you, he sees these things, but you may not be able to because you are in it. It's kind of like when they say a person doesn't know their breath stink, if their breath stinks all the time because they're used to it, because they're in it, until someone on the outside who is not used to that tells them like, hey, you got some malfunctions in your mouth, man. You know, it is easier to see things when you're outside of it. And as your man, we see when you are being overused. And when you are being overused, you are being drained. Now you're more exhausted when you come back to us, when you come home, when we hang out. Now your schedule is busier. Now you have no more time for us. Now your attitude is changing because you're so stressed or emotionally torn from these people that you're helping who don't give it back. And I'm not just talking about people who can't give back. There's a difference between helping people who can never give back to you because they just lack the resources or whatever. I'm talking about the people who are capable of giving back to you and choosing not to reciprocate that love and care that you give to them. I'm talking about those people. As your man, it sucks to see. And it's also awkward at times, depending on a man and a woman, to tell you that we see these things. Because if you're not able to take criticism or real talk, then you might take offense to me telling you, hey, I think you're being overused and abused, taken advantage of by your family. So it's a tricky, slippery slope. The fourth con of being a great woman coming from the mind of a man is that certain men won't be able to handle your light. They won't be able to handle your success, and they won't be able to handle your sense of self-respect. And they may find it intimidating. You see, there is a certain essence of a woman who has self-respect for herself, who has standards, who has a high bar, who was raised right, who is successful. Certain men will be intimidated by that because there's a certain group of men who feel like they should be the alpha. They feel like they should control the situation or their relationships. There are a certain type of men who feel like their woman has or should have no power in a relationship. And I'm sure y'all know the type of men I'm referring to. These type of men will not be able to handle a great woman because they will feel a certain type of way. They feel like they cannot control you. They feel like they can't get a handle on you. These type of men will struggle to communicate with you because they don't know what to say. They don't know how to work with that. They don't know how to respond to that. Certain type of men will not be able to handle your light. But nonetheless, keep shining. The fifth con of being a great woman coming from the perspective of a man, and this is a funny one, is that most likely when you are a great woman, you are a great friend. And because of this, I've seen this personally, that you may find yourself in a tug of war between two best friends. I noticed that you women usually have groups of friends. I also noticed that a lot of women have two best friends. And these best friends aren't connected to each other. They're just connected to you. You are the mutual bond. And what I notice in these type of friendships is that the woman, the bridge, the common bond between these two usually has to find time to share between these two best friends. And it gets more complicated because these two best friends have their own individual friend groups. And anytime the common bond, the woman tries to bring these two friend groups together, it can get tricky because you're bringing together two different friends who love this one woman, so much that jealousy can creep in, possessiveness can creep in. You'll start hearing comments like, she's my best friend. No, she's my best friend. I see this a lot amongst women groups, not too much amongst us as men. So the reason why we feel like this is a con is because we see our girl stressing because she's trying to be peaceful and make peace between these two friend groups because she loves them both and she knows that they love her too. But it can get real tricky if they both are possessive, if they both want this woman to themselves as her lone best friend. Have y'all ever been through that? Tell me in the comment section below. This is definitely a con, especially in our minds and in our eyes, because we don't want our woman to be stressed, even when it comes to their friends, especially when it comes to their friends. And we also don't want to hear these constant conversations about so-and-so talking about so-and-so, gossiping about so-and-so. It's stressful for us too. And the last and sixth con of being a great woman coming from the perspective and mind of a man is, all the great women that I've known in my life have held tremendous weight when it comes to family. Whether you're an amazing mother to a great grandmother taking the reins of her grandchildren because their parents aren't fit to be parents, or they're struggling raising their kids, or their parents aren't there, to being the second mother of a community, as this woman feeds local children and families and prays for the neighborhood and creates community drives. It seems like great women and leading families are synonymous. Heavy is the head that wears the crown, truly. And in the mind and the perspective of a man, this can be a con because great women who are like this usually sacrifice themselves. They forget about themselves. They don't tend to themselves as much as they should because they are so worried about their family, about their community, about everyone else but themselves. And I don't want y'all to mistake me when I say this, but that is an honor. It is honorable to be such a woman, to be such a person. But I am a strong believer that you must take care of yourself in order to take care of others. You cannot take care of others if you do not take care of yourself. How can you take care of others? How can you take care of your family? How can you take care of your community? How can you take care of your church if you are broken down, if you are sick, if you are exhausted? It is a con in the mind of a man because we hate seeing y'all go through that. You see, the man of that woman sees what she looks like when she finally comes home and deflates and sits there and tries to rest from helping so many other people. Your man sees how tired you are and the amount of stress that you take on behind closed doors, behind curtains. The people that she's helping don't see that most times. They just see how great she is, how much she's doing, all the amazing things she's doing for others. They see that. But your man, the men in your life, including your son, whoever, they see the realness, the results of you doing so many great things because you are a great woman. All we want is for you to remember yourself a little bit more. We're not saying lessen your charity or lessen your greatness and the things you do out there for others, but we, as the great men in your life, want you to take care of yourself and not lose yourself in helping others. All right, so thank y'all for being here. And everything I said in this video is with love. Not saying all these things are bad things, but my point in today's video is to show you and tell you, coming from the mind and perspective of a man, the tough side of being a great woman as we see it. Peace and blessings, y'all. Goodbye.